You were not born lazy. Nobody was. And the moment you understand what is actually happening inside you when you cannot seem to move, everything changes. There is a part of your brain that has been working against you your entire life, not because it is broken, but because it is doing exactly what it was designed to do. For thousands of years, that design kept your ancestors alive. Today, it is quietly keeping you small. Your brain runs on a simple but powerful principle called energy conservation. Every thought, every decision, every burst of action costs metabolic energy, and your brain is obsessed with spending as little of it as possible. For early humans surviving in a world of scarcity, conserving energy was the difference between life and death. So when you find yourself lying down instead of starting that project, your brain is not betraying you. It is following a 300,000-year-old instruction that says, if there is no immediate threat and no immediate reward, stay still. The problem is, the modern world runs on delayed reward. You study for years before the degree. You build a business for months before the profit. You train a body for weeks before you see the change. But your brain is wired to respond to what is immediate, concrete, and certain. A reward you cannot see or touch right now barely registers as real to the part of you that drives behavior. Deep inside the brain is a structure called the nucleus accumbens. It releases dopamine not just when you receive a reward, but when you anticipate one. The catch is that the anticipation has to feel close and vivid. When your goal feels abstract or distant, dopamine stays quiet. And when dopamine stays quiet, motivation never shows up. This is why people who seem endlessly driven are not working harder than you. They have simply learned how to make their future feel present. People do not primarily avoid hard work because they are tired. They avoid it because starting feels like a threat. The brain cannot always distinguish between a dangerous situation and an uncomfortable one. Both activate the same stress response. This is why sitting down to begin almost anything meaningful produces a resistance that feels almost physical. Your nervous system reads the uncertainty of a new task the same way it reads danger. Understanding this is where things begin to shift. You cannot out-discipline a survival mechanism. Willpower alone almost never works long-term because you're fighting an ancient system with a modern tool. What actually works is changing what feels natural, and that starts with something researchers call identity-based behavior change. When a person genuinely sees themselves as a certain kind of person, their actions align with that self-image without requiring constant effort. A person who identifies as a runner does not negotiate every morning about whether to run. The decision is already made by who they believe they are. Motivation follows identity, not the other way around. Most people wait to feel motivated before they act, but the brain works in reverse. Small, consistent actions build a self-image, and that self-image generates the drive that makes larger actions feel natural. Ancient philosophical traditions understood this long before modern science confirmed it. Stoic thinkers wrote about the gap between intention and action and concluded it was not a moral failure, but a training problem. Many cultures across history believed that what you practice, you become. Modern neuroscience arrives at the same place. Neural pathways strengthen with repetition. The brain you have today is the accumulated result of every habit you have run on repeat. The feeling of laziness is rarely about laziness. It is about a goal that feels too distant to excite your brain, a task that feels threatening enough to trigger avoidance, or an identity that has not yet caught up with the life you are reaching for. None of these are permanent. They are patterns, and patterns can change. The most important moment in your day is not the hour of peak performance. It is the moment right before you begin, that pause between who you have been and who you are deciding to become. That is where everything is won or lost.